Hey, fam, how's it going? Welcome to everybody. Hope you're having a good day today. Welcome. I am Herman. This is the beautiful D, and we are H&D Abroad.
Absolutely. We are sharing this space, creating community as two people, male and female, that are married and sharing our Move Abroad journey together from those different perspectives. We are sharing the everyday decisions that we're making as we are getting out the door. And we are focused on answering the questions we see that you have. So we hope that this topic is relevant. We anticipate that our community is going to share their experiences and answer questions that are in the chat. So please,
This is a conversation.
there we go.
This is a conversation. Conversation means it's not just us conversating with each other, but we are including you in this chat and in the comments in the future. So if you're watching from the future, please go in the comment section and hit hashtag replay, because our replay gang is strong.
Absolutely.
Leave your comments and your thoughts. We comment back to all the comments that we receive, and we enjoy the conversations and the learning experience we have from those conversations. Dee and I are looking to, if you don't know who we are and don't know about us, we are striving to move abroad, to find a place that will eventually feel like home. We're learning a whole lot about this process, and we're doing that primarily through community with you, but it's also meant to help us build our generational wealth and improve our healthy living. So if this sounds good to you, as always, stop where you are. I see a whole bunch of people here. Hit the like button right now. It's just one slide across. Hit that like button.
We'll wait for you.
We will always wait for you. Take the time. All right, great. Then, if you have not already, please subscribe to our channel. We love building this community, and hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. So, Dee, if you want to give the shout out to all the lovely people in the chat.
Absolutely. Okay, so like we hadn't started, but multifaceted me, I'm telling you, we love seeing you in the chat for sure. Aileen Brown, hello. Tanya Brooks, we appreciate you joining us each week. Hey, Kimmy Apple, welcome. Absolutely. Hey, Sam, that's my sister right there. Hi, Jessica, welcome. Poetry. Oh, it's so good to see you, darling. You know, you have our condolences, and we're so glad that we hope that we are part of your community that brings you joy. Hey, Nikki and David.
Man, you know it's real love family when they get on all their pages to come see you, man. That's the love. I love it. It's
Absolutely.
so good to have you all here today.
So, you know, sometimes you do have to move in silence. Hey, Prophet Mother, welcome. Hey, yes, Jay Stokes, welcome. Oh, we about to tell you what's up because doing some research and listening to some comments. So y'all know all kinds of people will see these videos. Thank you to the YouTube algorithm for bringing folks in community with us. And some folks have been making some comments about, it looks like it's taking you all a while to move. You have announced in your title that you are abroad, and I don't see that you're moving as quickly as I think, you know, what we're saying is they don't see us moving as quickly as they think we should move. So it's got us to thinking, especially reading in different groups and different forums, you know, should I move in silence? Should the move abroad process be kept to yourself? Should you keep to yourself your decision, your goal, your dream of moving abroad? And as much as I value the moving in silence, sometimes you do have to, kind of tuck it in and keep your dream safe. But
Yep. You've heard us on many occasions say sometimes you have to tell the family down the road a little ways.
And I think one thing that, especially in communities of color, especially as a Black person, and I can only speak as a Black person, okay? And that is, we keep our business to ourselves is a family mantra, okay? We keep our business to ourselves. Nobody needs to be in our business. Nobody needs to know what's going on. It is a generational, my grandmother told my mother, who my mother told me. And, some of this process is also breaking some chains and establishing some new patterns, some healthy ways of communication, some healthy ways of considering that people aren't out to destroy us, to step on our dreams, but that standing forward and saying, I don't need to be an expert, and to have folk come around you, support you, encourage you, you can be accountable to, you can offer accountability to them. That is what we're bringing forward today. So we're going to talk about what the 5 myths are, and then we're going to break it down. So Herman.
All right. So before that, so the 5 myths are, hold on, got to slide through them. Keeping goals to yourself guarantees your success. Silence ensures that no one can sabotage your plans. Sharing goals with others makes you vulnerable to negative energy or criticism, and it reduces your self-protection. You'll avoid disappointment by not sharing your goals, and it's better to show results than to share plans.
So we're going to talk about what I consider to be a myth and the reality. What are the possibilities around that? And let's get into it. So
we watched 2 videos by 2 gentlemen. I need to go back and add them into the description, who were discussing their thoughts on sharing your goals out to others and how it affects you.
So those 2 videos, the titles are Why You Shouldn't Tell Anyone Your Plans. This is Andrew Huberman. That was the first video I sent to you, H. And so did you want to talk a little bit about what Andrew just shared? There's a lot of research around, as psychology majors, the risk reward connection that happens in your brain. And when you get the reward too early, it reduces your motivation. And so, I mean, I'm not here to refute, the research that, we have a lot of evidence toward, but I don't think you keep it to yourself forever.
And what he said was when you tell the world. And what I derived from that conversation is everybody should not be a part of your plans. And sometimes when you are broadcasting to everybody everything, you can create a reduced motivation in yourself to do things. And then he came back with, you're more motivated by people who tell you can't do it than by people who tell you can. So and he called that the friction model. I have a bit of a debate in that aspect, because for me, being contradictory doesn't make a motivation permanent for me. Just because I'm trying to prove you wrong doesn't make a goal long term for me. It makes it in goal result. As long as I get to here, then I've proven you wrong. Ha to you. And I have no plans for this being a success, being a long term a benefit to me. So I had a bit of a disagreement with that point, but that was his model. If you tell everybody and everybody's patting you on the back, then you'll be less motivated to do it, and you're more motivated by people who say, I don't believe you can do that, or why would you do that? That's a dumb thing to do. That kind of motivation.
So we're going to get, I mean, a lot of this we're going to address with some of the myths, but I thought, you know, what's the common moving in secret messaging, not only that's out there, but that we might need to identify and address in the move abroad process, because we don't tell everybody our business, but sometimes, and I'm going to, you all know, in this community, we believe we don't have to be an expert. Mm-hmm. That I am safe to ask questions of things that I don't know. If I put my plan out there, not that somebody's going to poke holes in it, but somebody's going to step forward and say, have you also considered X? Think about it. I don't have a job to move abroad. And somebody's going to step forward and say, you might want to consider how to take the knowledge that you have as an infopreneur, or skills that you already get paid by an employer to do, if it's valuable to them and you were able to get hired, how to transform that into something that serves you so that you can work from anywhere. When we are putting those kinds of things out there, I think I have seen and I have benefited. And I think you and I, Davis, have benefited from other couples sharing their stories, you know, as another example of why sharing or moving in silence. I'll tell the story of how you got picked up by the county.
Okay.
This man stood up in church and said, I'm looking for a job. And I was like, are you kidding me? I don't need testimony time to be when you tell my business. What I did not know is when Herman stood up to say, you know, what he said at church, that one of our church members was very good friends with the hiring manager. And without my husband knowing, went to her and provided a character reference for him. Like when I say I move in silence, that's how I've moved before.
So someone to whom I had a building relationship, was still in development of relationship with, had observed me in my work with him when we only saw each other mostly on the weekends, and stood up for me because I took the chance to say, I have a vulnerability. I'm at a weak place. I'm looking at a job. I've been without work because the church didn't know. I've been without work for a considerable amount of time. And that led to what I consider to be one of my biggest growth experiences, both personally in my learning and in my job development process. Even though that job was the last corporate office job I had, it was one of the jobs that I think catapulted me into my personal business and helped me in the management of person that I've been today. There is a balance between sharing and, you know, my father was a minister, and he would say what I equated to was, don't tell our business outside the house. And pretty much what he was saying was, protect what you say about the business in our house. Mm-hmm. It is, I think, sometimes unrealistic to say that by keeping everything to yourself, you know, everything is tucked in and nice. because again, then there can be a difficulty in finding ways to reach out.
Yes. Thank you, Sam. That I'm telling you, closed mouths don't get fed.
Or as I saw on a cartoon once, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, gets the grease. Okay, and we're not talking about begging and pleading and listen, D and I have been uncharacteristically transparent in this journey as YouTube content creators. You need to understand.
You have no idea.
Okay.
The growth that happened for this.
My wife, we pretend like she's not listening. My wife had us scripted at the beginning of this, which I understood and respected, because the fear of saying things that would come back to get us was a whole thing. And for her to have taken the steps to not only be transparent in the conversations that we have with you together, but in conversations that she has had individually with you, that she started having three months after we started. I wasn't prepared. We sat in Morocco in April, and she sat there. You can go back and watch that video. She's sitting there as the one with the cats yowling in the background. And she shared personal information that while I was sitting next to her, off screen, I did not anticipate she was going to share. And I think it was the turning point. But in all of that sharing, as T.I. said, you don't know me. Because there are things that are important to the safety of my home. Mm-hmm. There are things that if we had not presented the things that we have learned in this community, the thing that we have learned in this community that have given us a growth process, our whole mindset has changed in the year and a half we've been doing this. And a lot of that is because we chose not to keep our success to ourselves, keeping our goals to ourselves. We have modified some, and there are some that are still in our pockets, because I think that there have been times, as the gentleman said in the video, where we have thrown things out there and then
pivot,
or haven't known how to quite go about them because I think we talked about them too soon. And so there are things that we've had to draw back, be quiet about, sit down and manipulate into a process so that we bring them to the table. We actually bring them to the table, because this is still, at the beginning, this was just we out here talking to y'all. This has become a venture for us.
Yes,
I would dare say a business for us. And it requires that if we're going to come to you as confidential people, as confidants, as trustworthy, respectable people, that we need to have our ducats in order. And sometimes
we don't. And sometimes we're growing in those areas. And sometimes I'm not going to sit here and tell you everything we share is a win. Look at the videos. I have a whole playlist on the debt journey. Woo! And I say, for those who have not had to move through difficulties and share with people along the way, that, I had a date in mind, and I did. If you've never been engaged, unengaged, engaged again, and then married, I'm telling you, though, it's the reality of living. And I think sometimes social media, what people are looking for is to see people who are winning. And I think the win is saying, not only am I continuing to strive, but I've fallen and I've gotten up. So I want to make sure that when we're in this space of keeping your goals to yourself guarantees your success, that we are here to break myths.
This is this is pride keeps Black folk from progression because we're trying to protect ourselves, and we have learned to protect ourselves from ourselves.
Because that point, I was actually going to bring up the next myth so that we could go to this point.
Go ahead.
That's exactly it. Because the second point, sharing your goals with others makes you vulnerable to negative energy or criticism or self-protection. You can't tell everybody everything. Everybody that's with you is not for you.
Hey, and let's be clear. Let's because I think we're going to repeat this. We're not talking about putting your life on the line for everybody. Okay? We're talking about having a community of people, and that community can be one person, and that community could be 500 people. It depends on the positivity of the group in which you engage yourself. Having a community of people who say to you, not why haven't you, but what are you considering? What have you looked at? How can I assist you? How can I help you? People who are for you are trying to propel you. People who are with you question you, doubt you, hold you down. You need some realism in your life. Sometimes, the old folks used to say, "Get your head out the clouds." I challenge that because I believe that the dreaming that Dee and I have been doing the last year has not only been the motivation to move forward in this process, but has also invigorated and reignited some places in our relationship. Because we forget to be children sometimes, and children are about dreaming. Don't ever tell your children to stop dreaming. Learning to dream early becomes a life process that propels a motivation that is not riddled with doubt and questions and concerns. That doesn't mean your optimism needs to be, in fairy tale land. In the old kung fu movies, they used to dance through the trees and stand on the ends of trees. You will not dance through trees and float through the breeze, but you can do moving mountains. The concept of moving mountains is about self-belief and confidence. And we as a people often struggle with that. And having people with you who say to you, I got my forearm in the base of your back, and I'm helping you just keep moving forward. What was it with Dory? Just keep swimming.
So, when we were talking and chose Should I Tell as the title, and we were, kind of doing the research around what people were saying on the internet about setting goals and telling people about your goal. It's not that, let's see, so we decided to break it into not necessarily should I tell, it's who should I tell. So being selective of the communities in which you share your goals. And then why am I telling them? So I think announcing your plans to travel more, to spend, to spend your pre-retirement, your unexpected pre-retirement years outside the country because you've moved abroad. Why are you sharing that? How you share that might actually gain you versus just making an announcement, because sometimes we are looking for those dopamine hits of congratulations, or I'm expecting positivity. I'm wanting someone to give me a pat on the back, whatever it is. Allow your announcement to bring to you what you really need. And so that could mean hey, I've decided to move or to spend a significant amount of time in Indonesia. Does anybody in my Facebook, Instagram community know anyone there? Hey, have you saved money before on a low income? What strategies have you used? Because I want to go on this trip that costs X amount of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So you put out there what you need, and you're more likely to get it instead of a general announcement. And I feel like I've had to check myself when I go back to my why. Why am I telling what my goals are? What's the underlying thing that I seek, so that I make sure I get in a community that will do that for me. When I go to Exodus Summit and I have done the thing, when we got our residency, they were the first people I went and said, not only did we get it, but we did it by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I got congratulations. We are here. We can't wait to see you. We can't wait to meet you. Okay. That's where I put that. When I went to my family, it was I was about to use the unemployment. You've been warned. You are being notified. This is not I'm requesting feedback. I want you to be aware that we are making a transition. And so as you're thinking about whatever, it is related to us, we are on a timeline that looks different. So when I say, I want to do this trip with you this year, because I may not be here every year hereafter. When we told our daughter, when we said to our children, we're moving abroad, and we said to our daughter, because we knew our son was just waiting. We already had a plan of leaving. We said to our daughter, we want you to move to your apartment. And here are some options, because we want you to feel confident about caring for yourself before you leave. That put my heart as a mother at peace. And my job is to make sure that our child is confident and doesn't feel like she is being left alone, left behind. And so the idea that putting my goal out there makes me vulnerable to negative energy, just place. There's a time and place for the things that you need, and that includes emotional support, cheering, or saying deuces to some folk, so that they know I'm on the way out the door. You got a short time.
And that is friends and family. I saw somebody mention that earlier. Sometimes family can be the biggest obstacle to moving forward. And you have to
unexpected champion.
Correct. So you have to be able to say, what am I bringing to the table? Understand what your process is before you start sharing your process with other people. When you sound in doubt, when you sound unsure, when you are ill-informed about your goals and your process, you make other people look at you cross-eyed. You're gonna get the stank eye when you don't know what you're doing. Have a process that makes sense. It's okay when they question you when they don't understand, when it's not something that they would do. But you have a process in order. Those who love you will respect that. But if you don't know what you're doing, then it might be best to be quiet a little while till you got that right.
Marilyn is in the chat. This is how we know we are loved and cared for. She is reminding you to please ring the doorbell. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. When you want to know who your people are, this is how you know who your people are. When people join and you haven't hit the live button and they're in the chat saying, I'm ready for this, let's talk about this. when people come in and they greet each other in this community, that's how you know this is the place for me. And so the fact that I need to protect my energy, somebody put something about therapy in here. Sometimes there is a lot to unpack about trust when you're talking about protecting your energy.
Kimmy said that she shares with her therapist, her spouse, and people who are open-minded and have the same dream.
Yeah.
I love this one by Ray of Sunshine right here. I only share it when I need advice from someone who can actually help me. So if it's travel, a travel agent. That hits. That hits.
100.
Okay. Sometimes you get to share it. What is it? It satisfies the need to share, but it does it in a capacity that keeps it in a format that is a forward motion and not a critical motion, a criticizing motion. Yeah. All right, let's get to our next banner. Let's do this one.
Yeah.
Silence ensures that no one can sabotage your plans. I said a minute ago that there is a measure of confidence that has to go into doing something new, doing something unexpected. One of the things that Dee and I talked about a lot when we began this channel was being prepared for criticism in the comments. Luckily, we've not had many, but it would be dishonest to say that we've not had some. And those comments come, and differences of opinion are what they are. I don't dissuade them. Come, I need to hear a difference of opinion. Some have been downright rude, and what we chose to say from the beginning was, I don't have to comment to useless negativity.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not afraid to block you.
Yeah. Hey, as an empath, it's taken me years. It took me years to learn to recognize my energy and to protect my energy. I thought I wanted to go into behavioral sciences because sharing my energy with others and them feeling good at the end of our engagement, that's what I wanted to do. So it always terrifies me when I hear young people say, I want to help people. What does that mean? Do you understand what you're putting out there into a world? If you don't know how to regulate your energies for yourself, you will be tapped by other people. Okay. And in this environment, you already know the people who are going to come at you sideways. You already know who they are. Okay. And there are times when, it doesn't matter how great an idea, how great a plan it is. If it doesn't hit with them, they're going to throw you away. Some of those are people that you need to have sidestepped years ago. And some of those are people that you can't sidestep. And we interviewed several months ago who said, we told them just before we drove away. Okay.
We've had more than one couple to say that.
Because they knew that nothing they said was going to be okay. And
or
they
helpful.
had to, or helpful. So they had to go and do and prove. But in the middle of them not telling those people, they had some people who were their people.
Mm-hmm.
Who were their guidance people, who were their structure and design people, who were their implementation people, who were their accountability people. They were never alone in the process. They just had to pivot towards who was the confidential people, who were their.
That's my place. That's my tribe.
Their ride or dies might not have been, mom and dad.
Sabotage can look like distractions. If you have moved to Mexico, or you said, I'm going to spend a significant time in Mexico, how many people have had somebody in the chat right now Please raise your hand if somebody has told you about getting kidnapped. If someone has told you about the cartels, because
Anywhere,
Mexico, Colombia,
anywhere in Latin America, you going south of the United States. How many people have said to you the cartels and the gangs and the drug? Come on now,
I'm telling you. And so when you say sabotaging, I mean, I see one concern is that I'm going to spend so much time addressing those kinds of questions that it is going to be a distraction. You know, you going by yourself and you are a woman, you're going by yourself into another country. You know what? That is energy that probably taps both sometimes it taps a fear or something that is uncomfortable inside of us. And so I'm going to be distracted by that, dealing with the negative energy because of something you touched inside of me. Y'all know I'm a believer, protect your energy, and that what you're leaning to is peace in this process. But sometimes it does need to be touched, but it should not sabotage you when you go back to your why. Mm-hmm. When you go back to why you're doing this, and that's why I say do a video and have a list and have a community, because those are things that are going to bring you back to, I'm not moving for the gram. I'm not out here trying to have the nice pictures. And there are people who that fits into, but I'm not turning my life, the life that I've built as a 50-plus-year-old person, house, cars, jobs, quality salary, good benefits. I'm not turning that life upside down.
Correct.
For the Instagram likes.
Correct.
Okay. It's solving things for me. And I am clear about why it is helpful to me, and everybody's not going to understand it. They don't need to. You is grown. You are solving problems for you. Now, if somebody's out there solving problems for you and you might need them to be in alignment with you, like a partner, they probably do need to be on the same page with you. But other than that, your children need to understand that this process is for you and that they will always have your love. You will come back if you are needed, and we cannot bring together a community that you have helped them to identify that's on the ground where they are. Mama don't need to come back every time, so-and-so, I need to move. Daddy, can you come home and help me move? How's that working out, H?
The baby girl called me this morning from her place saying, I'm going to need to move this and I'm going to need to move that. And I was like, you got a little bit every day. You move it out a little bit every day.
And here's how to hire good help.
Not I'm going to be there. Not, hey. It's not I'm removing myself from assisting her. I need this process to be one she takes ownership of.
Yes.
This tell you how old we are right here.
What is it right there? Right there. You know.
Hey, you have to decide what is going to actually affect you, what is going to move you. There are going to be people who are close to your heart, who have done the things, as Aileen said, that you are trying to do, who are going to be questioning why you are doing them.
Oh, yeah.
But see, again, there are differences, Aileen. People see the difference between I'm traveling and I'm moving. I'm traveling means I'm still coming home. They don't understand. What you mean you packing up? As many times as we have said to our friends and family, residency, not citizenship. They always get the question, so you're not an American no more?
It's okay, because it's an opportunity to share. I'm not trying to convince you by the life decisions I'm making. Sometimes it is keeping your dream compartmentalized can help, but you're not out here trying to solve everybody's problem for them because your solution looks good for you. I mean, like it is the context, I feel like, that when you move in silence, you are compartmentalizing the information that you're putting out there so that it serves you best. But my solution is not your solution.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't work. It shouldn't work for everybody. That's why it is defined by you. So
welcome to all the new people who have joined us in the last little bit.
Hey, Greta, welcome, welcome.
Let's jump forward. Hold on, let me make sure. This one, I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay. I put this myth up here because it's something that from the time I was a child, I really battled with. I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to bring shame to the surface if what I put out there doesn't happen, if I have to pivot in a way. And so moving in silence keeps the negativity, doesn't just help me to avoid my disappointment, but keeps those that are around me who are saying, I was looking forward to seeing you do a thing, be disappointed. Like I couldn't do it, but watching you do it, and then now you're saying it's going to be delayed or, whatever, you're making a pivot. And you have to deal with, you've got to dig into that. Because disappointment is things not going as planned is a part of living. You have to resolve it within yourself.
We have been up against several times where we said we could just walk away from this channel.
Y'all have no idea.
And you all not know that we just disappear into the wind, as so many other YouTubers have done. We could shut the page down. We could just, this isn't working out. We done put ourselves all out there, and this is gone sideways. I need to contact her and tell her this. We had 2 interviews with Krishan Wright. Mm-hmm. Krishan Wright is the founder of Blacksit Global. Krishan was out there with Blacksit Global talking about her leave 3 years before she ever left. Okay. And we've been at this in front of you all for 1.5 years. In the process of doing this, we have been co-launchers with so many couples who have been in this beginning with us and have what has felt like left us behind.
Yeah.
And what we have had to focus on is our goals, our needs, our plans, our abilities, and what is going on in the homes in which we live, and in relationship to our family and our needs and our responsibilities.
Yes. Yes.
Be sure that you understand that we have goals in place. We have deadlines marked on the calendar.
And we're marking them off, and we're meeting regularly. Yes.
What we have had to learn to accept is sometimes those deadlines will be moved. Those end goals will be shifted, revised, rethought. And that failing to meet a goal is not failure.
I am not a failure.
I am not a failure. And that is something that has been something that you have to evaluate you realize that you have to evaluate more than just in one area of your life. Often you have to say, do I have this mindset on many aspects of my life? I may be focusing on this big thing and I have this feeling about this big thing, but how many other places am I doubting myself? Am I stalling myself?
We are talking, these are real examples of us. We are trying to share with you all things that we are working through. And when you realize I'm not the only one, it can be so healing. It was for me. I'll just say it that way. It was healing for me to know that other people were afraid of being disappointed. Let's see, so right before, I'm going to reference a video that you can literally see and hear. You can see the tears and hear the anxiety in my voice. It's in the playlist for the Mexico residency videos. The night before we left, I start literally hyperventilating. I'm in the kitchen. We're supposed to get on the plane at what, 3? We're supposed to leave for the airport at like 3:30 in the morning.
Right.
It's 11 o'clock at night. And Herman says, we're going to go walk the neighborhood because you got to calm down. So many things had, weren't, y'all know I like control. I'm working through it. I'm trying to give myself more grace. But at that time, I had a death grip on why this needed to go well and why our facilitator, it felt like, was ghosting us, giving us information at the last minute. Like, I was like, no. And I think on the walk and talking it through with someone that supported me, I recognized that I hadn't dreamed like this, like dreamed to action for something that was so important to me. This is a childhood dream that I am attempting to manifest almost 40 years later. And that my dream was on the line and that I had a desire for success. I wasn't concerned about how much money would be wasted if, things didn't go well. And what we talked down was, if it doesn't, we know enough about this process that we're going to try with the limited Spanish we have. 2, we needed a vacation. We were taking our son. This would be a great adventure if the residency process didn't pan out, that this would be a great time. And then I would, reach out to my Exodus Summit sisters and we'd have a meetup. It would be a good experience for me because I had, this was high stakes. And so that disappointment, I get it. I hope that nobody feels like what we are saying in moving in silence keeps you from disappointments. But for a lot of us, being able to leave your job before retirement, before qualifying for Social Security, is more than a dream. It's a necessity. Like, I can't continue working like this. The money may be good, but the pressure is bad. The environment is toxic. I want to spend more time with my children, my grandchildren, my partner, while I still have vitality. And I can orchestrate my life to give me that. And if I have to come back, if y'all have not watched, I'm going to look his thing up and make sure I put it in. There's a gentleman, Nikki, you know who I'm talking about. If you can remember, you and I talked about it, where he's in Merida and they sold everything and moved to Merida, bought a condo, established a life, established a huge YouTube following. and needed to help to care for his mother-in-law. So they were going back and forth. And in the process of thinking, well, if things get bad, with her dementia, then we'll just bring her to Merida. It's cost effective. We've got an established life here, a community. I know how to we've already reached out to, care providers to give her. And she was like, no, I don't want to leave. I don't want to go. I don't want to sell my house. I don't want to, no. And change for someone who has dementia, change of environment can have a really negative impact on their health. It is disorienting. And so somebody in the deep public eye had to say, we got to take all this apart and reestablish ourselves in the US. Saying I'm never coming back. I'm not saying don't say it, but sometimes somebody's going to have something to say and you're going to feel some kind of way because the dream that you have has had to make a pivot.
She said
Yes. Okay, RuPaul's channel, he's talking about why he had to move back to the US. And y'all, he was getting thousands of views while I was watching the video because it touches something in us about when I have a goal and I feel disappointed, what happens next? You determine that, but what happens next should never, if I have to make a pivot, should never keep you from sharing. It might be how you share it. And he has a very supportive community.
What I see a lot of people here saying right now, and I think it's important, is, Jay said earlier, we may never move, but we're going to collect these residencies and we're going to travel and we're going to have, and everybody is talking about accepting the adjustment of works best for them in their space and not allowing negativity, both external and internal, to affect the forward progress. Yes, Greta, pivoting is everything. Pivoting is, I can't believe I'm gonna reference this. One of Dee's favorite shows, I'm gonna blame her, is Friends. And they are trying to take this long couch up the stairs. And Ross, one of the main characters, keeps shouting, pivot, pivot. And the concept is sometimes the task really seems impossible. And a pivot may not be, a military pivot, the old marching and pivot. Sometimes that pivot has got to be a snaking move, and it is uncomfortable and it is grazing because primarily it's not what you had in mind. Mm-hmm. It's not what you were planning. There are a lot of ladies in this group. And a lot of the ladies I've noticed over the time in this community are very organized minded. It is something that as a Black man that I highly respect and admire. But I also recognize that it is for people who are strong personalities, who are type A personalities, bending and shifting are like stabbing them with knives. And take a step back. Some of us more melancholy personalities have learned that I keep my heart rate down by just sometimes taking a deep breath. I know sometimes this baby girl in this other block next to me, I know sometimes she is like, can't you figure that? Can't you tighten that? But she has learned, I believe, to appreciate that sometimes I'm just standing here going, it's not that I have a different level. My anxiety level is probably higher than hers. That is truth. But as Black men, one of the things that we talked about, if you go back and watch that conversation with David Anderson and I this past Monday, we holding on to that stress. Sometimes the people in your life, in their stress trying to help you, come off negative. Mm-hmm. They want more for you, but they don't know how to tell you how to make your dreams work. So it's easier just to tell you it won't work because they don't want you to hurt. They'd rather you be upset with them right now and hurt right now rather than you hear it. It's not always a matter of fact that people are out to get you or destroy you or hold you down. They don't know how to tell you to take a deep breath.
Yes. Yeah. I was getting ready to type it to Marilyn. Yes.
They don't know how to tell you to slow your roll. This can be done. Everything is not a now thing. And when things feel like they have to be a now thing and they take too long, disappointment creeps in like a mother.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And you got to smooth it out a little bit because when it is to be, it will be. When it is to be, it will be. And you don't hear me doing a whole lot of, religious talk to you. When the divine wants you to be where he wants you to be, that door will be open for you. And if that door ain't open for you today, stop turning the knob. Okay? The key will be on the dresser when it's time for you to unlock the door. Until then, keep walking down the hallway till you find your right door. Stop trying to make everybody else's door your door too. There is a door for you. There is a time for you. And
what I hope, what if we had made the move quickly? Like I started thinking about it. Why not move? Preparing for how we would need to adjust is giving me practice. It identified that this move abroad process is going to tap dance all over my my control, the part of my personality that needs and feels the need to be secure because of control, that I'm going to have to release that for me to invite joy into my process and not be bothered. If the cable man says he's coming and he don't come, and I call him and he says I'm coming tomorrow morning and he don't come, I gotta that grip on control, that grip on inflexibility. Hearing people that have moved say, it's really discouraging to hear in the expat community. Well, in the US, we didn't have to, or when I was back home, and I was like, if you're not willing to bend, this process is not going to serve you well. It's not. Hey, if nothing but the exchange rate, realizing you ain't got no control over that. You're going to have to build in that flexibility. It's really helping me in my heart and to address my history with some of these things to be what I think is to be more prepared for some of the ups and downs. So look, I am giving you all what we are taking in our own process. That moving in silence, these are things that many of these I've actually held very close, the myths, but I can guarantee you, I've had to identify them and work through them so that I stay focused. Money, as many of you all know, is a big piece of this. If we didn't share this, it would be easy for me to slink away because I haven't solved that. I haven't solved it, but I've solved enough of it to say we out the door. It's better to show results than to share plans.
When we started this process, looking at people who were telling us what they had done to do the thing we wanted to do. They were in the joy of living all the places, all the ways, with all the happiness. And when we turned on the camera the first time, we were nowhere near the vicinity of outside of it being a conversation and a thought. Sometimes it feels like we're still there. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it feels like we're still stuck in a conversation and a thought. We thought it important in this journey to say, we have a goal, walk with us. As my mother used to say, there's a method to the madness. And along the way, all our madness has been on Front Street. And it can be embarrassing, shameful. You feel guilt. Am I misleading? Am I misdirecting? Am I misinforming? Because as two firstborns who are both empaths, we tap into the energy of the people on the other side of this screen. Most of you, we will never have the honor of meeting in person. That's the nature of the beast. But there is a responsibility. We learned as children, as older siblings. We learned as leaders that what you give, you're responsible for putting what you put out there. And it would have been easier to show up here a month or two before I leave and say, hey, we're H&D Abroad, and watch us go, watch us go, watch us go. You've been here when a grown man has been here crying. You've been here when we have hurt. But you also have been here to say, take your time. We got your back. Keep moving forward.
Here's some ideas.
Here's some ideas. Here's some directions. And whether we take that advice or not, you, at least to our face, you haven't criticized us. and these conversations are important because I think it again gives us an opportunity to say to someone else, hey, you're not alone. We do this together. But it's also important to say that for us to be able to say thank you to you because we continue to exist because of this interaction. And
yeah.
The people we have met. Okay? The people who we have met.
Yeah.
The people who continue to show up. The people who are patiently waiting. Every time I get an opportunity, I shout out my community. Because we have setbacks, but we have them together.
Yeah.
We do this together. Tanya, we row dogs.
Absolutely.
Okay. I thank you for your patience. I thank you for your y'all my peeps.
Yeah.
And that is a breath of fresh air. It is an honor to show up here every Saturday except for the ones we had to really lay down somewhere and sleep. And know that you all share these videos and you all talk about this and you all come in and that you allow us to share with you and that you allow us to learn from you. Dee and I will not be hampered, and we will share that out loud. We will continue to share that out loud. We will continue to press forward. there's some things that we have to now utilize you as our accountability. So we got to roll back to some of the old stuff. We got to roll back to the decluttering. We got to roll back to some of the moving out. We got to roll back to some of the date setting. We got to roll back to some of the entrepreneurial stuff. Call us on it. We're okay.
What happened to?
Yeah. I could have sworn I saw a video where you said, "Ask me about it. I will man up and tell you I punked out on it, or I'm working on it." Okay. But there are some things we are going to bring back to the table because it is important. We think in the building of this community, and these conversations, and when you show up for them, are important for, I think, the growth of us as a community. And thank you.
But at the end of the day, we just doing it. We are going to do it. We are doing it. It will be done. There are a lot of positive affirmations out there, but the one that I feel closest to right now is that if you want to go far, go together. If you want, if you want to go fast, go alone. But when you want to go far, go together. And so to be able to go together, we had to break our silence somewhere in some capacity. And the result of that is what we have discussed today. So I thank everybody that has been a part of today's conversation. We wish many blessings on your journey. Keep identifying goals, check them off. If you need to make sub goals, do it. Make your list, check it twice, visit a place. If you can't do 6 weeks or 2 months, go for a week. Be inspired. Some of the things that I saw in the goal setting that I wanted to make sure we brought forward is visualization. Spend time literally. If you want, there are a lot of people who do those, day in the life video. If there's somewhere you want to be, if you want to be in Medellin, Colombia, find a day in the life video where somebody's walking through the city and eating pastries and, going to the park and living their daily life, so that when you sit with yourself, and you should regularly, you can close your eyes and see yourself sitting on the bench in a park. If you've been there before, like in Mexico City, I love Esperanza, the bakery. There are days that I sit and I literally try to call up the smells of that hot chocolate in my hand. Or us going, how did it feel at night when we were walking as a family, eating gelato or churros and chocolate? And what did that feel like? What do I see? What do I smell? How does the food taste? When you can dial into your dreams like that, research has proven that to be a very powerful piece of continuing the motivation. I may not have it yet, but I can bring that dream as close as I need to keep me inspired. And then I join community, whether it is Exodus Summit, where we've got our salon community groups like We Out, or other groups like what we have on, Herman.
What?
What the community, it starts with a P. Anyway, all
Uh-oh.
of how you can work with us and be in community with
Oh,
us.
a Patreon.
Yes, the Patreon community. Y'all, just
Sorry.
forgive the 51-year-old brain. Yeah, so join us on Patreon. Join us in our Move Abroad community. If you want a consult, that's what we're here to do. Not because we have already accomplished it, but I can share. You want somebody to tell you how to research? You want to know where the communities are, where Black people, expats are sharing how to find an apartment. Okay, you want to know how to travel, how to find the best flight deals? Look, I'm not saying I'm your travel expert because I've already accomplished the biggest goal that I have, but I've done enough that trust. Your sister is going to come through for you. Your brother's going to come through with you, and we have learned so much from you all. Let us give it back.
Listen, resourcing is what we do. That's my nickname for Dee. She's the resource lady, and I can implement like a mug. So you know, tap into our resources because you believe we tapping into yours.
Yep.
And
I see you, Temple.
Hey, no doubt.
Absolutely.
No doubt. It's always an honor to have you all here.
Absolutely.
We're HMD Abroad. I'm the Herman. I'm the Herman. Yes, I am. This is the beautiful Dee. We thank you. We appreciate you. And oh, yep, whoop. Don't want to forget that. Yes. Yes.
Oh, yay! Another good channel. Another good couples channel. Yay. So,
hit us up. Let's work on it, Jay.
Absolutely.
Much love to you all. See you all soon.